Good morning. It's like 8:30. It's another day in the life of a TV meteorologist. My pants are on inside out. Let's get some coffee. I can't decide if I want to have a Nutty Buddy or a leftover donut for breakfast. Very important decisions need to be made this morning. I finally got my stock coffee again, which is my all-time favorite. But coffee is just so, like, everything at the grocery everything at the grocery store is so expensive now. Okay, so I do cold brew, almond milk, no, oat milk, and a little creamer for sweetness. Okay, let me get my leftover donut. We got donuts sent to us at work, and I only ate half of mine. So, of course, I had to wrap it up in paper towel and take it home. It's the best, though. Powdered donuts. Ooh. Breakfast of champs. All right, let's go get ready. Oh, wait. While I'm here, let me grab my ice roller. I'll put a link to this in the description. It's like 10 bucks on Amazon. This thing freezes, so you roll it around your face and it reduces inflammation and like redness and increases blood flow, a ton of stuff. But it really helps wake me up in the morning, so. Ooh, the first one's always so cold. Okay, it really feels phenomenal. All right, let's get it started. Maybe today I'll talk about how I got into meteorology. I've been working on just being okay with the unknowns in my life. Just trying to be at peace with it as much as possible, because it's literally the unknown. No matter how much I think about it, I'll never know. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so here is the story. Last semester of high school, February-ish, I think. I decide, okay, I'm gonna do meteorology. I picked that because I had no idea what else I was gonna do. I had previously done pageants, so I knew I was okay with like speaking in front of cameras, and I knew how to use my communication skills, things like that, okay? Things that you want for TV. So my mom was actually looking through the catalog of majors at Mississippi State for whatever reason, and saw broadcast meteorology and was like, Soph, you should try this. This sounds cool. This would be right up your alley. I was like, okay. Freaking out because I had no idea what else I was gonna do. I could be on TV, I could talk about weather, that's interesting. So I said I was going to Mississippi State, which at the time when I graduated, hardly anyone that I knew was going to, I mean, literally actually no one that I talked to or like in my friend group or like anything like that was going to Mississippi State. It was always Alabama or Auburn, or what the high school that I went to, it's always Alabama or Auburn. So I was definitely going somewhere that I didn't really know anyone. Turns out my best friend actually ended up going to Ole Miss, so it's weird that we both ended up in Mississippi. So I would go visit her at Ole Miss like all the time. Then freshman year, I did the Miss Mississippi pageant, and to learn more about broadcast meteorology, I found a chief meteorologist back at my hometown in Birmingham, Miss Ashley Gann. She's my mentor now, and I was a young little freshman. Of course, when you're a freshman, you're not taking any classes that have literally anything to do with broadcast meteorology. You don't even touch those until like your junior year. So I didn't know hardly anything about the career, but I was put in contact with her through my pageant coach because he knew her, because she used to do pageants. I mean, do you see how this is all like starting to come together? And she said, okay, yeah, she can come shadow me. So I went to her station, CBS 42 in Birmingham, and shadowed her for a day. And that was the first I had ever seen like a behind the scenes studio or anything of the sort. Fast forward a couple years, I'm like a junior in college now, starting to take the hard classes. I finally found a group of friends. I didn't have friends really for like the first 2 years of college, or like friends in meteorology at all. It wasn't until my junior year. It's the summer going into my senior, so I guess I guess I technically finished junior year. Sorry. So I already had my group of friends, but it's the summer between junior and senior. I'm like, I need to get an internship because I want to get a job my senior year. I want to get a part-time job. So I emailed Miss Ashley again. Always good to keep in contact with people. Okay, make those connections. And I said, hey, do you have a spot for an internship over the summer? She said, absolutely, we would love to have you. So that summer, like at least once or twice a week for like a couple of months, I went to her station and just shadowed her for like 4 hours, I think. And that helped me learn a lot about the industry, and I was able to like pick her brain and get behind the scenes info. And then I was able to practice, which is good because I could use their green screen and their cameras and stuff and record fake weather segments. So I was able to use some of those to post on Instagram or to post on YouTube, because the whole way that you get employers to notice you is by posting reels. Your reel is your highlight reel of all your best moments on TV. So if I wanted to get a part-time job, I had to have stuff for my reel. Luckily, my major in college, we had a whole green screen room that was like a class. It was called practicum. And we would go and do weather in front of the green screen. So I had enough material, but it was always good to get more practice because I was only going to that class once a week. Wow, this is really long. Do y'all care about this? I hope you do. So then my senior year starts. There is an opening at a station at the University of Alabama, has like their own little TV station there. There was an opening for a meteorologist there, and there was an opening in Tupelo, Mississippi at a TV station there, which, funny enough, I had emailed the station in Tupelo back when I was a junior, which I understand why they did not respond to me because I had no skill whatsoever. I mean, obviously I've been taking classes, so like I knew a little bit, but they probably saw my videos and were like, yeah, she's crazy. At this point in my senior year, I'm just banking on getting this job in Tuscaloosa, which is the town where University of Alabama is. Okay. And then one day I get an email from the news director in Tupelo. This is like 7 or 8 months later since I first emailed her because I never heard back from her. And she says, hey, like I kept track of your email. We didn't have anything open at the time, but we do now. Do you want to come interview? And I was like, oh yeah, I was not expecting that. Sure. So I drove to Tupelo, interviewed. I don't know how they told me I got the job, or I don't really remember, but I could tell they like were very interested in me. And yeah, I started working at WTVA in Tupelo, Mississippi, I think in September of 2019, so September my senior year, which means that I was sacrificing all my weekends and driving from Starkville, Mississippi, straight north for like an hour and 10 minutes to Tupelo. And I was working the morning shift, so my parents didn't really want me driving in the middle of the night. And in between Starkville and Tupelo, there's a whole bunch of nothing. So my parents didn't really want me driving at like 2 a.m. through like cornfields and stuff. They got me like a hotel room at like the Holiday Inn every weekend, which I'm so blessed and so grateful that they were able to do that for me. And I always tell them one day I'm gonna pay them back, because that, like, truly the experience that I got was so important for where I am now. And they knew that. They knew that this experience I was getting in Tupelo would be something that would set me apart from like any other candidate, because I'm fresh out of college and I have experience already working at a real TV station. I'm already on TV. I'm already doing it. So they saw the importance of that. Mind you, I stayed at some sketchy hotels, okay? Holiday Inn, Express, like those were actually pretty nice. The sketchiest ones were the Candlewood suites, and I did not like those. Those always freaked me out because those are like the extended stay hotels. So there's like a kitchen in the room, like people come there to stay for like weeks. I don't know, it always gave me like weird vibes, and I just hated staying there. Like I was always on my freaking guard. I was like putting stuff in front of the door. Every time I was there, I like would come home from work, didn't leave the hotel because like I just didn't want to be seen. I was a scaredy cat, okay? But then I started staying at this Holiday Inn like down the street, and I felt a lot safer there. But my sleep schedule was messed up, obviously, because I was a full-time student Monday through Friday, and then come Saturday and Sunday I'm on like this morning shift. And Sunday evening, I'm like driving back to Starkville, or Sunday afternoon, I'm driving back to Starkville, and then got to get my sleep schedule back on track because I got to go to class at like 7 a.m. Monday. So it was just, you know, my sleep schedule hasn't been correct for like years at this point. Okay, then what happens next? So then by around March of my senior year, it's time to start putting in applications and looking at different stations. I applied a ton of places. My toxic trait though was I would go through Indeed, which I was using Indeed to like look for broadcast meteorology jobs because they're on there. Or you can go to the company's website. Like every TV station is owned by a big company. We're owned by Gray. You can go to Gray TV and see all of their openings at all of their little stations. So there's a couple different ways you can do it. But there's so many TV stations in smaller towns. And for me, I'm looking through the list and thinking, okay, well, I don't know where that is. So I don't want to go there, you know, like a very small random town in like Illinois, you know. Probably wasn't applying as many places as I could have because I was applying to places that I had heard of before. You know, I applied to places in Texas, Florida, the Carolinas. I don't think I went further west than Texas. So then I went on my interview to Richmond. Actually, the news director saw my reel, my highlight reel that I put out on YouTube, and he contacted me and was like, hey, we would love to talk to you about this position that we have open. So it didn't happen through me applying. I think they had just posted or were about to post the position, so I hadn't seen it yet, and he had reached out to me. So I want to say within like 2 weeks of him emailing me, I was already booked on a flight to go out to Richmond, and I ended up flying out in the beginning of March. So maybe I started applying in February because this was right before COVID. It was right before spring break too. So what happened was I didn't have any class, I want to say, on Tuesdays, and then on Wednesdays I only had one class. So I was like, yeah, I can fly out like on Tuesday. So I flew out to Richmond on a Tuesday, interviewed with them. They like drive you around the city. They take you out to dinner with like the other meteorologists, and you just kind of see how everyone meshes, see if the vibe is good. You tour the station. They take you back to your hotel. And then in the morning, the news director typically picks you up, or someone does, and takes you to the airport. So I got back on like a Wednesday back to Starkville, and my friends and I were going to go on a cruise that set off from Mobile, Alabama on Fridays. We were like, oh, we'll just skip class Thursday. So we didn't go back to class, but I never knew my last class was going to be my last class because I was not expecting to not go back. Like, and I had been out of town for the interview. So my last class was technically like on Monday, and I had no idea that it was going to be the last time I ever went to college, because we went on this cruise, and yes, we did go on the cruise because like there was nothing telling us we couldn't go. Actually, I remember Carnival sent us like these little vouchers right before we went, like literally 2 days before we set off, beginning of March, saying like, please don't cancel. We will send you $150 credit to your account. We were like, oh, $150 for free drinks? We were gonna go, but we're definitely gonna go now. So we go on the cruise, and I remember, and actually, so it had been like a day or two since I got back from Richmond. I was nervous because I heard all this stuff about COVID, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go on any more interviews because like stations were no longer letting visitors in at this point. Things were shutting down, and Richmond had sent me over my contract to like look over, and I was nervous because I just wanted to get it signed because I didn't know what the future was gonna hold, and I didn't know if I would ever be able to do any other interviews, and I really liked the station, and I knew I wanted to work there. So I signed it right before we like departed on this cruise. And then we went on the cruise, and we came back, and right as we were docking, of course, we didn't really have cell service when we were out there. I think we bought like the social media package, which you could only get on like Instagram and Twitter, which you can't click on any articles and go to external links. So we were only able to read headlines. So we kind of knew that there were cases popping up, but we didn't really know the extent of it. But the day we got back from the cruise was the day that the first case was announced in Mississippi, the first. And there had already been like 2 in Alabama, I think. All of my friends and I, we all worked at different part-time stations in college. Like my friend Jake worked at WTOK in Meridian, Mississippi. My friend Trevor worked at WCBI, which is in Columbus, Mississippi. I worked at WTVA in Tupelo, Mississippi. So all of our news directors start calling us like, hey guys, like hope you had fun on your trip, but you guys probably need to like quarantine for 2 weeks or something. We were like, really? You think so? And so we did. And of course nothing happened. Like we didn't have COVID. No one on the ship ended up having COVID. But that was kind of the first, wow, this is real. And you know, this is not affecting people. This is actually happening kind of moments for us. And then I continued to work at WTVA in Tupelo until April. And that's when it was my last weekend. And then I moved to Richmond in May, end of May, very end of May, because my contract started on June 1st. So yeah, that's my story. Oh my gosh, I hope that wasn't like so long, and I hope to God this was recording, because if it's not, Jesus have mercy on my soul. I'm gonna lose it. Let me check. Oh, thank God it is. Okay. Thank God. That's my story of how I got into meteorology, how I got to where I am today. Get as much experience as you possibly can, make contact with as many people as you can. And I know with COVID it's hard, which is why I kind of felt bad for the classes after us, because internships, interviews, things like that were completely different. Internships weren't happening. You can't have extra people in the station. Interviews weren't happening. You can't have extra people in the station. So everything was different. So it sucked for me at the time because I didn't get a college graduation. I was like, meh. But now that I look back, I'm grateful because classes after me definitely had it a little worse. And as far as schooling goes, Mississippi State, I went to that university for 4 years. I got a broadcast meteorology degree, and getting into like the meteorology school is not like getting into nursing school or law school. At Mississippi State, I don't think you have to be accepted into it. You just declare that as your major and then you're on track, if that makes sense. And I have to say, I'm so grateful for the friends that I made while I was in college. Like, I know for a fact they're gonna be in my weddings, I'm gonna be in their weddings, we're gonna be going to each other's weddings, we're gonna have reunions for the rest of our lives. Like, they are my people forever. And when I first started at Mississippi State and started going to these meteorology classes, like in my sophomore, junior year, I felt so excluded. I didn't know anyone. I obviously did not have a history with meteorology. I hadn't wanted to do it since I was a baby. I had just started being interested in it, so I felt stupid. I felt dumb. Don't let that happen to you. Everyone is learning at their own pace, and you're in college because you have to learn the stuff. It's not like you're expected to know the stuff beforehand, and that's what I felt. I felt like I was behind because everyone else already knew it. No, learn at your own pace. You're gonna be okay. Find a good group of friends and you'll be fine. Actually, my friends and I, we have a vacation plan. We're going to Gulf Shores in the middle of June. Late nights in the middle of June. So it's gonna be an iconic time, honestly. Very iconic. Okay, here's my mascara combo. L'Oreal Voluminous Primer, Telescopic Carbon Black, both by L'Oreal. Both go on my eyeballs. All right, here is my little outfit, hair, makeup, all that for today. This dress is Calvin Klein. Got it from a thrift store for like $5, but now I gotta make my overnight oats or add the toppings. I have this recipe linked on my other TikTok account. Now I just add frozen berries, which I'm basically out of. Then we add peanut butter. Okay, ready for work. Let's get it. Let's have a good day. Let's have a good day. Hello, I'm at the station now. It's like 10:30. I've been here for a minute, but I'm just updating our web forecast and making sure that everything is accurate before we go on TV at 11. Oh, I need to record the radio. Hold on. The studio is colored red whenever there's like major breaking news. Of course, the major breaking news at the moment is the Russia-Ukraine conflict, so that's why it looks a little different behind me.
It'll be a cold and cloudy Thursday afternoon with light rain possible at any point as temperatures continue to sit in the upper 30s and low 40s. Make sure you're grabbing a jacket before you head out. From NBC 12, I'm Sophia Armada on News Radio 1140 WRVA and 96.1 FM. Done. Now I just send these over to the radio station. That lighting's better. I hope y'all enjoyed my little story of how I got into TV. I feel like I haven't in-depth told it and I get asked about it a lot, so I'm glad that I finally put it out there. Okay, sent that, and now I'm just gonna tweak all the numbers, make sure that everything looks good before we go on air in like 30 minutes. And there's something in my eyeball. Y'all, you know what's crazy? A freaking cockroach crawled into one of the coffee machines that we have here overnight. So I like woke up to an email like titled "Cockroach in the Coffee Machine." Needless to say, I am not going to be drinking any coffee from here today. They like cleaned it and sanitized it and like everyone is good, but still that just it doesn't sit right with me. And it is a cloudy and cold day for Central Virginia. We're also tracking scattered showers. We'll talk more about today's forecast and your weekend forecast after the break. So that's what is called a tease, and it's usually right before we go to a commercial break and we just kind of tease all of our upcoming stories. And it's like 10 seconds and I just kind of give a little preview. So yeah, that's the only thing I do that's not at the green screen.
In the hours and days ahead, we must feel the sting of unprecedented sanctions. Senator Tim Kaine also just issued a statement saying as well. Meteorologist Sophia Armada with the latest.
All right, Jasmine, as you can see out of the sky cam, again, very cloudy. Temperatures are in the 40s, but it feels more like 34 degrees. So we're feeling a wind out of the north today, anywhere from 5 to 10 miles an hour, making it again feel much closer to the freezing point for a lot of the area. You'll want to make sure you have a couple of layers on if you're going to be outside. One of those layers probably going to need to be a rain jacket. Here's what First Alert Doppler radar is showing now. Over the past 3 hours, we have seen consistent light rain for nearly everyone south of the I-64 line.
Okay, I'm going to get my oatmeal because I was trying to wait, but I can't. I'm so hungry. All right, I'm gonna try and resist these. I accidentally grabbed a fork.
Such as vitamin C infusions, herbal remedies, teas, juices.
Okay guys, it's like 3:30 now. I'm still at work, but I just went to our little market thing and I bought this like Fiesta quinoa wrap. It's really good. It's quinoa, corn, oh, I just dropped some grape, tomatoes. It's like quite delicious. I've never bought like actual food. I usually buy snacks. I very much love this. Okay, it's like 7:30 now. I have been home from work for like an hour-ish and I'm just chilling. I don't know, probably just gonna watch Netflix or something. I watched the documentary Downfall about Boeing on Netflix. I think it just came out. It was incredibly interesting. Highly recommend it if you haven't watched it. So I'm gonna look for something else maybe interesting or more interesting than that. I don't know. I really like documentaries. Okay. Yeah, hope you enjoyed this vlog. Love you so much. Don't forget to subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and you're so cute. Okay, bye.